Composite Gloves here, and this is the 46th video in the Kontakt from the Ground Up tutorial series. And today we're going to be talking about the Rotary Effect module in Kontakt. So if we bypass it, there's a bypass button here, like everything else, and there's presets. Woo! So if we bypass it, we get that. I'm playing a cello, and the great thing about our cello is that we could put a rotary effect on it. That's what it always wanted. And so let's talk about what this effect actually does. So with it on, it sounds like this. And it sounds pretty much like an organ, like almost exactly like an organ. Kind of freaky, but yeah. And the thing about this rotator is that in old speakers, it got particularly popular with a particular kind of organ. I forgot the name of it now, but what it was a speaker that spun, and it was cool because it created stereo fields that hadn't existed yet. Oh, it's actually got a thing here too, talking about the 60s and 70s, and it was they have the organ here, the Drawbar Organ. And so it was a really popular organ sound, which is why people generally associate it with organ sounds. I personally hear that old Take Me Out to the Ball Game melody whenever I hear this type of effect. But it works great on pads and synths. And you can hear, if you hold it down, it go from left to right in your stereo field. And that's kind of the idea behind it. So we have here the speed, and it should be noted that this is a particular kind of that speaker. This one has two speakers on top of each other, or at least is simulating that. The bottom one controls the bass, so the bottom one spins around, and the upper one controls the treble, and they spin around on independent speeds. Now, that's what this is. So it's a knob, but there's slow. And if you look at this, to me, it screams all pass filters or notch filters. It screams phaser like none other, at least for part of the effect. Obviously, they have stereo and stuff going on, but it's like a combination of those things. Then they have a fast version. And these accelerometers, sliders here are representative of how fast the lower speaker and the upper speaker, so the treble and the bass, respond to this change from slow to fast. So if we make them both slow, as I go from fast to slow, they will respond, very slowly, because they're not going to accelerate to that change very quickly. Accelerate to the slow change. That's weird. So let's just show you. And you see it eventually got to that point where it was slow. But if we do it fast, it will be slow, and then fast. As soon as I go to fast, it'll be boom, fast. And you can make only the lower end respond, so the upper end is really slow. So there are those kinds of options for you. You could have them both in the middle, or maybe one a bit slower in the other. And you can just really nail down specific kinds of organ sounds if that's something that you want. We have balance, which is essentially just an EQ. So that sounds like a low pass to me. And that sounds somewhat like a high pass, or high pass. There's not enough frequency content for me to make a statement about the exact filter, but it's pretty much just an EQ change. Then you have the distance. So the way you would record something like this is you'd get a microphone, obviously, and you'd put it in front of the speaker. And however far away that microphone is will change the sound. And so that's what this distance is simulating. Granted, this is a digital effect, so it's not quite the same. But the far away microphone and a much closer microphone. So you'd get, I imagine, more room sound. They probably have some sort of thing that simulates a little bit of reverb. Similar to the size. Well, not quite the same. Not even close to the same as the size concept on a reverb. But anyways, microphone farther away, microphone closer. And then you have the wet and dry. So this is without the effect. And with the effect. And that's pretty self-explanatory. And you have output, just like on all the others. Pretty much exactly what you'd expect. And that is the Rotator. If you have any questions about this, drop them in the comments. If you have a speaker like this, you should videotape it working. I mean, if you have a visual of it, and post that in the comments. Because first of all, they're cool. Second of all, it's a great learning tool. Or you just go look one up on your own. If you own a speaker like this, that's destiny. You should subscribe to my channel. Like, that's what it means. Destiny called you today. And once again, check out my website for awesome tools, music, samples, all that good stuff. And have a blessed day.